Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anti-News Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Grosso, and thank you for tuning in. Today's date is January 10th, and as always, I've got 5 happy stories for you. But first, let me just say Happy New Year's, everyone. Our first story is beavers are used to build dams in a desert, followed by a huge body of water being discovered on Mars, and a photo leading to the discovery of a new species. After the music break, a dinosaur egg with a surprise, and a new type of packaging that'll help the environment. Along with being one of the animals most associated with Canada, beavers are the largest rodents in North America and the best dam builders in the wild. Not only do their dams provide homes for them, as well as other creatures, but they can help change the environment around them. Looking for a solution to droughts and wildfires, beavers are what one university in Utah have turned to. Utah State University student Emma Doden took a group of beavers that were going to be euthanized for causing problems elsewhere and transported them to the Price and San Rafael rivers, which run through some of the driest parts of eastern Utah. The hope is that the beavers will build dams which will help revitalize the area. Intense agriculture can cause sediment runoff, which can result in heavily damaged waterways and can harm ocean ecosystems by blocking light, choking coral, and causing toxic algae blooms. Ponds created by beaver dams can store a lot of sediment in them, and then spread it around the river ecosystem more safely. And a study found that this is true regardless of human activity in the area. There's little research done on river restoration in deserts, but based off of data from other areas, Emma believes that their efforts there should be a success. This just goes to show how nature can sometimes be its own best solution. By moving the beavers away from where they were causing problems, to somewhere that they could fix them instead, it solved 2 problems at once. There's lots of things that can be done to solve multiple problems with one solution. For example, planting flowers can make an area prettier while also giving pollinators a food source as well. Try to see the positive, instead of focusing on the negative when dealing with a problem. Since the dawn of science fiction, man has dreamed of living on other worlds, and one of the best candidates to date for that is Mars. It's close, and we're finding more and more signs that it could be lived on, such as the discovery of water on the surface. The more of it we find, the better the odds are that we could terraform and colonize the Red Planet. And luckily for us, a huge amount of water was just found. Scientists were looking at Mars's Valles Marineris when they discovered that 40% of the ground there was made up of water, more than they had ever seen elsewhere on the Red Planet. What made it even more astonishing was that it was so close to Mars's equator, and that it covers more ground than the Netherlands at 41,000 square kilometers. Alexei Malikov, a scientist at the Space Research Institute of the Russian Academy of Sciences in Moscow, said, "We found a central part of Valles Marineris to be packed full of water, far more water than we expected. This is very much like Earth's permafrost regions, where water ice permanently persists under dry soil because of the constant low temperatures." The discovery was made thanks to the TRACE gas orbiter, a joint research project between the European Space Agency and Roscosmos. The device on board records neutrons exiting the soil, which are placed there through galactic cosmic rays, and took 3 years before making this discovery. According to Malikov, more neutrons come out of dry soil than moist soil, so a lack of neutrons can be a sign that there's water there. One exciting thing about this discovery is that the water is only a meter below the surface, much easier to get to than the ice at the polar caps of Mars. To get to those, you'd have to go down a kilometer and would need either to drill or blast your way down. Time will tell how helpful this discovery will be for future Mars explorers, but the future looks bright. Maybe in our lifetime even, we could hear stories of towns being built on the red planet. And when that day comes, it'll be yet another impressive feat for humanity. Ever since the invention of the internet, people have been sharing photos from all around the world, either of themselves or of other things. As technologies improved, more and more people started sharing pictures, and the quality of those pictures has improved as well. Instagram is one of the biggest social networks, and its main focus is on sharing photos with other users around the world. However, one such photo caught the attention of researchers, who saw something that hadn't been photographed before. Virender Bhardwaj, a master's student at the Guru Nanak Dev University, had taken to exploring his backyard in Chamba, India, taking pictures of the snakes, lizards, and insects he encountered. One such creature was a kukri, which is a non-venomous snake that can be found in India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and a few other countries. Their name comes from a Nepali dagger of the same name, because their curved teeth resembled a blade. A picture of a kukri snake popped up in the feed of Zishan Mirza at the National Center for Biological Sciences in Bangalore, and after talking about it with a colleague, he decided to contact Virender about the snake sighting. What looked like a common banded kukri to the casual observer had some unique features that a herpetologist could tell made it different. Virender thoroughly explored the area, and by the end of the month found 2 unusual kukris, enough to proceed with a proper investigation. The research team studied the DNA from the snakes and found that they were, in fact, a different species from the common kukri. After some more testing and research, the team confirmed that it was in fact a new species that hadn't been seen before. This new species was named Oligodon churahensis, a reference to the Chura Valley where it was found, and the discovery was published in an internationally peer-reviewed journal called Evolutionary Systematics. Zishan said it best when he commented, "It is quite interesting to see how an image on Instagram led to the discovery of such a pretty snake that, until very recently, remained hidden to the world." What's even more interesting is that the exploration of your own backyard may yield still undocumented species. Lately, people have been eager to travel to remote biodiversity hotspots to find new or rare species, but if one looks in their own backyard, they might end up finding a new species right there. If you explore the area around you, you might just find something that you never would have seen otherwise. It might not be new to the world, but if it's new to you, then that's just as good. One thing that's full of discoveries is music, so let's go to the music break. That was Take It Easy by Bad Snacks. Now on to the last two stories. When we think of fossils, one of the first things to come to mind is dinosaur bones. But there's actually many different types of fossils. Plant imprints, footprints, and fossilized excrements are just a few, but one of the most valuable fossils are dinosaur eggs. Dinosaur eggs give us insight into their early development, but because eggs in general are pretty fragile, they're also something of a rare find. An even rarer find are dinosaur embryos, and those that are found are usually incomplete. However, an amazingly preserved embryo has been found, and has shed new light on not only their development, but a possible evolutionary link as well. In Guangzhou, southern China, a 66 to 72 million-year-old egg was discovered in a layer of late Cretaceous rocks. Inside of that egg is an embryo that's been named Baby Yingliang, an oviraptorosaur. Baby Yingliang is one of the most complete embryos found to date. And what's more interesting is that it's curled up like a baby bird would be before hatching, with its head between its feet. This position is crucial for modern-day birds to hatch, but after having studied Baby Yingliang, researchers now believe that this behavior might have started in non-avian theropods. Professor Lida Xing from China University of Geosciences and the joint first author of the study explained, this dinosaur embryo was acquired by the director of Yingliang Group, Mr. Liang Yu, as suspected egg fossils around the 2000s. During the construction of the Yingliang Stone Nature History Museum in the 2010s, museum staff sorted through the storage and discovered the specimens. These specimens were identified as dinosaur egg fossils. Fossil preparation was conducted and eventually unveiled the embryo hidden inside the egg. This is how Baby Yingliang was brought to light. More embryo fossils are needed to help further prove that tucking behavior started with theropods, but even so, the information that Baby Yingliang has given us is amazing. Insights into the development of dinosaurs are rare, and so anything and everything we can learn about that part of their life is incredible. There are very few materials that can completely block out air and bacteria. This is especially true with food packaging, which is usually made from plastic. When food goes bad, either because it wasn't stored properly or we didn't eat it in time, it usually ends up in the trash. This not only contributes to food waste, but it's a waste of money as well. Food waste costs Canadian families an estimated $1,100 a year, which is $1,100 more than anybody wants to waste. Fortunately for both our stomachs and our wallets, scientists have created a packaging that just might help solve this problem. Scientists from the Nanyang Technological University in Singapore and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health in the U.S. have worked together to create biodegradable and antimicrobial food packaging. The packaging is made out of a corn protein called Zen, along with other starches and natural fibers, and instead of trying to strictly block out microbes, it kills those that come into contact with it. This could help reduce food waste by increasing shelf life, but will also help to reduce waste and pollution in general since it breaks down over time on its own. Lab experiments showed that the packaging was resilient to increased humidity and enzymes from harmful bacteria. To fight back against it, the packaging releases natural antimicrobial compounds that can kill common fungi and foodborne bacteria like E. coli. To make sure that it's safe for people, the packaging is designed to only release as much antimicrobials as needed to deal with any humidity or bacteria in whatever it's storing. Professor Philip DiMocchierto, adjunct professor of environmental health at Harvard Chan School, said, "Food safety and waste have become a major societal challenge of our times with immense public health and economic impact which compromises our food security. One of the most efficient ways to enhance food safety and reduce spoilage and waste is to develop efficient, biodegradable, non-toxic food packaging materials. There are plenty of things you can do to help reduce food waste on your own. For example, try to cook with perishable items like fruits and vegetables first instead of canned or preserved foods. Plan out your meals ahead of time and eat leftovers first before making new meals. Also, reusable containers produce less waste simply because they're reusable and can be washed between uses. We could make all the advancements in the world to stop food waste and pollution, but they're only good if we actually use them." Here's today's advice. Before you throw out food that's about to go bad but hasn't yet, see if there's something you can make with it. For example, mushy apples and bananas can be made into applesauce and banana bread. Just let your creativity go wild. That's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to support this podcast, you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Google and Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker. You can also find it on Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Castbox, and Deezer now as well. Links can be found in the description, and until next time, remember that there is still some good in the world, you just gotta look for it. Take care out there, everyone.